Good morning everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP. Bitcoin first, it's moving sideways so far in a small range, resistance about 68,800, support about 60,370. A little bit of a wick below that. This is absolutely normal to be expected behaviour within a healthy bullish run. It's actually a good thing, I think, that we're seeing some consolidation before new all-time highs on a closing basis. That hopefully will relieve some extreme conditions, allowing for a longer, stronger bullish run when we do get the upward breakout. If price can close to new all-time highs, that would be technically an upward breakout. If that happens with some push from volume, then we can have confidence in the breakout, and I'll have further confidence in my overall bullish analysis for Bitcoin. I am expecting a closing new all-time high in probably another 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks. First of all, we need to see a consolidation. Last completed session, an inside session, that's pretty much the definition of sideways movement. Get some free giveaways today to help you with your technical analysis. Click on the link below to go to my website and you can download one or more of these 3 giveaways. I have an ebook on technical analysis basics for you. These are the contents of the ebook, several chapters on some basics, some indicators, some techniques, looking at gaps, looking at scale for your charts, and I've even got 2 steps to a high probability trade set up there for you. Another free giveaway is this easy candlestick pattern guide to the major candlestick reversal patterns, bullish and bearish, diagrams, descriptions of how they should be read and in what context. And a third giveaway, I have this Elliott Wave structure guide, 3 pages giving you all of the Elliott Wave structures with all of the rules you need to know and diagrams of the ideal form for each. Motive structures on 1 page and all of the corrective structures on 2 pages. So click on the link below and get any one or all of these 3 giveaways for free. An inside session completing for the 6th of March, slight decline in volume, absolutely normal to be expected during a consolidation. Previous strong increases in volume, really good to see volume and volatility returning to this market. And that's exactly what you'd expect to see if this is a bullish run and not a bear market rally. When price traces out a consolidation, it's a good idea to draw some resistance and support lines, resistance and support on balance volume. As price moves sideways and forms peaks and troughs, will identify the consolidation zone, and on balance volume may also form a corresponding consolidation zone. We do this because sometimes on balance volume will break out before price, and when it does, it gives us a heads up as to what direction price is going to break out. And using on balance volume this way, it can become a leading indicator. Very, very few things are leading indicators, so when you find one, latch onto it, it's pretty good. This doesn't always work, but it does work more often than it fails. There's nothing in technical analysis that always works. We're dealing with a balance of probabilities, not certainties, and I expect on balance of probability we're going to see an upward breakout. And coming up maybe in another 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks for Bitcoin, depends how long this consolidation lasts. ADX is still telling us the trend is very extreme, but not nearly as extreme as it can get for Bitcoin. Now if we do see a longer consolidation here, that would actually be quite good. It could pull ADX back down below the 45 level and maybe even below the positive DX line and set itself up for the next upward trend to start from a lower point with ADX, giving it a bit more room to move. However, ADX can reach very, very extreme when this market has a bullish trend. As recently as November last year, it reached above 65, pretty much close to 70. It can even get more extreme than that. So this look at this stage is not a great concern for ADX. It doesn't mean that that dark cloud cover is telling us we're going to get a big bearish move for Bitcoin. What it's telling us is we're probably just going to get a consolidation within an ongoing upward trend. RSI is still overbought, but only just. The bearish candlestick has managed to bring RSI just back into neutral, but it's back into overbought, but only just. There's such a long way to go before RSI and ADX together tell us that this trend is in any danger of ending. And money flow also nicely back in neutral territory. ATR continuing to show a strong increase, and this is exactly what you would expect to see from a bullish run for Bitcoin, not a bear market rally. I do not think that this bullish run is in any danger of ending soon, but we will have consolidations and pullbacks from time to time along the way, normal expected behaviour of a healthy bullish run. My Elliott Wave count for Ethereum is continuing on higher. I expect that we've had a little fourth wave correction here for sub-MUET4. If that's the case, then this is the middle of a big third wave. I'm okay with this Elliott Wave count though, because sometimes the middle of a third wave does pass before new highs are reached for the bigger picture. And looking back at the past price movement with Ethereum with a full Elliott Wave count, that's something that can sometimes happen. This Elliott Wave count has a pretty good fit. I am expecting the fifth waves to end these third wave impulses to be particularly strong, because almost always for pretty much every cryptocurrency it is the fifth wave to end a third wave 1 degree higher that is the strongest portion of upward movement, and that's a feature of a market with really high volatility. You see this tendency in commodities, and I'm used to seeing it in gold because I've been analysing that one for many years now. It's really common for those fifth waves to be very strong. They'll form blow-off tops or selling climaxes because that's the end of an exponential growth phase. It forms a parabolic growth curve, and parabolic growth has at its end vertical movement. And there's your fifth wave to end your third wave impulse. So this is all fitting for this market. These numbers are just ballpark figures for Ethereum. I'm not going to be prepared to calculate anything I'm going to call a target until we get closer to the end of these third waves. That's because these cryptocurrencies, first of all, they don't always exhibit Fibonacci ratios, and that's what you need to use to calculate targets. And then the second thing is, those Fibonacci ratios, if they do exhibit, or the ratios they exhibit, can be very extreme, blowing all of your target calculations out of the water as price just moves on very swiftly toward the end. I'm going to wait until we've got MUET4 within MUET3 to try and start to calculate a target for you, and within that, when we get sub-MUET3 and 4 complete within MUET5, I'll calculate it at sub-MUET degree as well. The idea is, use as many degrees as you can to try and calculate your target, play with the numbers, and when you get a cluster of numbers quite close together, you get a little target zone with a higher probability. Tricky to do, but well worth the effort if you can take the time to do it. At the daily time frame, Ethereum has broken above what was resistance at 3,580. Let's expect that area now to provide support. Next resistance above is a little bit of distance away, 4,200. Ethereum is looking more bullish than the other two. It looks like this is a little sharp pullback and the upward trend is just ongoing. An increase in volume for the last completed session of 6th of March beyond previous upward volume for the 27th of February, although that whipsawing day with those long wicks, that red candlestick, that did have the strongest push from volume. But overall, volume is still increasing as price moves higher, and overall this is a bullish volume profile supporting the bullish Elliott Wave count. On balance, volume has a rather weak range for Ethereum, and because the upper yellow resistance line has a positive slope and the lower purple support line has a negative slope, these lines are going to slope away and just not really be very useful. So no decent useful range for on-balance volume to use as a leading indicator for Ethereum yet. ADX is declining still, telling us that there's no clear trend, and it did reach fairly extreme. It would actually be pretty good to see a decent consolidation or pullback for Ethereum to relieve some extreme conditions and set up for the next healthy phase of the bullish run. RSI is still fairly deeply overbought, so again it would be good to see a consolidation or pullback here to relieve these extreme conditions. Now these conditions for Ethereum are more extreme than the other two, Bitcoin and XRP, but not so extreme that it's telling us that we have to expect the end of this bullish run. You really have to get used to how extreme these markets are. If you want to study that, just go and look at past data and see how ADX and RSI behaved at the end of strong bullish runs for Ethereum, and then go back and look at the middle of them, and you'll notice that these indicators get very extreme toward the middle of the bullish run. So Don't expect it's going to be over, and remember, it's the end of the bullish run is where you get that vertical upward movement and the greatest profit. The fifth wave to enter third wave impulse, 1 degree higher, is what you really don't want to miss out on. And the only way you're not going to miss out on that is by buying and holding, people. In and out like an in and out burger, you're just going to miss out, and you're going to be risking that you've gotten out and taken some profit right before it goes vertical. Just hang on, a little bit of patience. Money flow back in neutral. ATR still showing a strong increase, exactly what you would expect to see from a bullish run. My Elliott Wave count for XRP, this one's really difficult. It tends to have these diagonal structures quite often. This is a pretty good looking one though. One of the things about Elliott Wave triangles and diagonals is they should adhere nicely to their trend lines, and the trend lines are often tested within the wave. So that what I mean is, here's the start of subminuet 5, here's the end of subminuet 5, and it's got two tests of the 2-4 trend line, the support line, within this wave. So that gives us an indication this is probably the right wave count. This looks like a pretty good looking diagonal. You could have expected it was over there, but it continued a little bit higher. It's overshot the upper trend line 3 times. That's okay, had a sharp reversal. Now my question for XRP today is, I'm pretty happy with this diagonal structure, but now I'm not too certain that this pullback for Minuet Wave 2 is complete. If it's complete, it's overshot the log function of the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio, which was just above 55 cents, and there is fairly decent support still about the 54-55 cent mark. But I'm not convinced it's over here, because these two completed green candles, well, this completed green candlestick, and so far the candlestick for the 7th of March, aren't really showing a lot of strength. So that could be a B wave. B waves are the worst. I really don't like them. One day, I keep saying it, one day I'm going to make a t-shirt that says, I hate B waves. Only people who know Elliott Wave are going to get that one though. I really do hate B waves. They exhibit the greatest variety in Elliott Wave structure and price behaviour. In classic terms, they are akin to choppy, sideways, complicated, time-consuming consolidations. They can overshoot resistance and support and then return back to within the consolidation zone, or they can be really sharp bounces or pullbacks. It can be over quite quickly. The whole range of counter-trend movements is encompassed by B waves. There are more than 23 possible Elliott Wave corrective structures, so when a higher degree B wave is unfolding, you really need to know your Elliott Wave to try and manage them. And even so, if you have a lower probability structure unfolding, it's not going to be your most expected wave count. That's how probability works. And B waves, they're just awful. This could be a B wave. We could have A, B, C to move below the end of A, so possibly a test about 54 cents before price moves up and away. Or, I mean, it could have been over here. If we start to see some strength and upward movement, then I'll eliminate a B wave, because one thing about them, they should be identifiable by weakness. They should have weakness in one or more of volume, range as a measure of volatility, strength as measured by RSI, or momentum as measured by MACD. So using those indicators to try and identify a B wave will help. Now that'll help most often, but every now and then you see a B wave that actually is quite strong and really throws you off. So like I said, I hate B waves. Technicals for XRP, there's a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern here, but this candlestick pattern has not come in the context of an extreme upward trend. The upward trend should therefore be expected to most likely continue. Look for support now about 60 cents, resistance above 0.675. If XRP can close above that, look for next resistance about 82 cents. The last completed green candlestick has a slight decline in volume, so it could be a B wave, unfortunately. ADX was increasing, telling us there was an upward trend, but now it's declining, so we could see a B wave move price sideways. XRP could also have a consolidation to last a few days to maybe even a couple of weeks. That's another problem with B waves. They can be quick, sharp movements over quite quickly as zigzags, or they can be really time-consuming consolidations like combinations or triangles, and those Elliott Wave structures tend to be more time-consuming. It's impossible at this stage to tell what structure this B wave, if it is a B wave, could be unfolding as. RSI is neutral, it barely reached overbought. money flow is still neutral. It did not reach overbought. Those conditions were not extreme. There's a very long way to go for XRP to the upside for my Elliott Wave count, but there will be consolidations and pullbacks and B waves too along the way. That's it from me today with your update, and I hope everyone's having a lovely day.